Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sensation Nation. This week, I am talking to you about something that I have to try to figure out how to deal with every single week. And it's those little red notification buttons on your iPhone when someone sent you a message or you've got an email or some type of notification or something like that. I'm going to title this episode Leave on Red. Now, I'll be honest, I used to hear my children or some of the younger generation say, I left you on red or whatever. I used to always think they were saying I left you unread, but what they're really saying is leave on red. Okay, meaning that you read it, you don't respond, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, that's rude, right? But ultimately, I had to get to the point where I was okay with leaving things on red as well. A little bit of obsessive compulsive disorder, if you will, OCD. We have to be careful about self-titling ourselves to have OCD or telling other folks to have OCD, because that is a legitimate thing that some folks are diagnosed with. So, but I will tell you, I have a little bit of a control issue, if you will, where I was just like, man, I don't want those little red notifications on my phone. I'm going to read them all. I want to respond to them all. I want less than 30 emails in my inbox, whatever like that. I don't want any unread messages in my inbox. Like, I'm always policing my inbox with regards to my emails. I want to keep it all policed up and tidy and neat. Same thing for my messages on my phone. I used to not be able to stand seeing a bunch of little notification things on there. But you've seen them, those little red symbols on your phone. And sometimes you're sitting next to someone and you glance over and you're just like, how in the world do you have all those unread messages? Like, you got to be missing some kind of information or something like that. But what I've learned is you have to do things within your own time. It is okay to leave them like that for a minute. It took me a while to get there. I'm not 100% there, but I'm actually getting better with it. You have those lock screen notifications. You have the notification center that pops up on your phone. You have the different banners that are popping up, and it can make you feel like, man, I'm behind. I got to answer these messages. All these people trying to get a hold of me. And, things used to not be like that. I'm an older guy, more seasoned guy, but there was a point in time where, you had a pager or something when everybody hold up, to the ceiling or to the sky or whatever, look at it. Then when you get to a phone booth, you call them back. Yes, I've been around that long to the point where I remember phone booths. Okay, got it. But ultimately, today's, the way things are today with technology, everything and everyone is readily accessible. And it's like we're all walking around with computers in our pockets now. And it's like, there's no excuse. I sent you a message. You didn't respond to me. I messaged you 5 minutes ago. And you're just like, man, what? Give me a chance to, whatever, right? And I would just tell you, don't fall victim to just being too overwhelmed by some of the messages. That was me. I am a people person. It still kind of is me, but I'm a people person. And, if someone's trying to make contact with me, reach out to me and ask me a question, I feel like, I'm not going to be able to rest until I get back to them and say, hey, I got you. Let me get back to you, whatever it may be. That's just how I operate. But when we look down at our phones after coming out of a meeting or something where our phone may not necessarily have been nearby, and you see all these messages and you just like start kind of semi freaking out, like, I gotta get these answers back. I gotta respond, let these people know I'm here, so on and so forth. I had a former boss at one point in time. He had all of us use this thing with regard to email, and he called it Yesterbox. Bottom line is, he had us all responding to yesterday's emails today, meaning no matter what, people would get a response back within 24 hours. But they didn't get trained to the point where it's like, email them, they'll email you right away. And once people get used to that and you don't do it, they go, hey, I emailed you 4 hours ago. I hadn't heard back from you. So for him, he had us using this thing called Yesterbox. So we would be checking today's emails, but they were from yesterday. And that's who we would respond to. And all the emails that came in today, we didn't look at those until tomorrow. Now, that may or may not work in some environments, but what it did do, as I've said on many other podcasts before, from a former boss, he said you have to train people how to treat you. And if you train people that you message me, I'm going to get back to you right away. When you don't do that, then that becomes, abnormal for them. But if you train them, it's like, hey, I shot him a message. He'll probably get back to me tomorrow, because that's just what he does. Got another boss, actually another mentor. I won't mention his name, but I can always tell when he's catching up, or if it's like, oh, this is his day, this is his time where he's responding to messages. Like, you'll send him something and it'll be like Sunday at around 11, and he's like, oh, he must be checking Instagram messages now, or he must be checking LinkedIn or text messages now, because they'll start coming in. I got another friend that I went to high school with. These people don't know that I know this, right? But you'll see him commenting and liking on all your stuff, like on social media, on a specific day. And I was like, he must have a specific window where he goes in and he does X, Y, and Z. So the bottom line is, set yourself some boundaries. Don't feel like you got to be so pressed to respond right away, immediately, because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to stop. I can be on leave or on vacation for a day or two, and I come back and I'm going through messages. And the moment I start going through them, others are popping up, and I'm start freaking out, like, I can't catch up. I feel like I'm running in place, and you just can't get overwhelmed by that. So I'm here to help you, as always. I'm going to provide you 8 tips that you can do to help control the urge to checking those notifications. Number 1, you need to make sure that you improve your focus and productivity. In order to do that, you have to reduce your distractions. When you have those constant notifications that constantly pull your attention away from your task, interrupting your workflow, and it's breaking your concentration, you got to make sure you're doing something to circumvent that, because ultimately you're going to have to figure out, if I get this stuff out of my way, move it out of my sight, move it out of my sound, that'll help me be able to improve my focus and productivity. In addition to that, you'll have better time management. You won't have that temptation to check the notifications. You can actually devote more time to high priority tasks, and you can basically increase your efficiency. So number 1, doing that will help you to improve your focus and productivity. I have said before that I'm a multitasker. I could do multiple things at once. And you can do some research, and there are studies out there to say you're really not really getting that many more things done any faster. Instead, you're actually countering that. You're actually being counterproductive instead of just focusing on one thing and just getting it done as well. Number 2, if you can help control those notifications, you can enhance your mental health. You'll have less stress, less anxiety. You heard me talk about that anxiety I feel when I feel like I got to respond to everybody. Having that stuff always on, I actually am, it's my personal preference. I do not keep my ringer on. I do not keep the dings and the beeps and the squeaks. I don't keep it on. I do keep a small little vibration on my phone. I don't have it vibrating on my wrist if I'm able to wear my Apple Watch. I don't have it doing that because it's constantly making you want to check it and look at it. In fact, on my phone, I have a customized vibration where it's not like a bzzz, something like that. It's just a bzzz, just something very subtle. And it helps to keep my stress and anxiety down. So again, those constant pings, they create that sense of urgency and that pressure to respond right away. So maybe think about turning those things off to help reduce that stress, and feeling like you always have to stay up to date. And if you keep those things on all the time, you can actually become a victim to information overload, because you're bombarded with notifications and they can overwhelm your mind. Unnecessary information, again, causes you stress and just cognitive fatigue. So number 2, again, if you control those things, you can enhance your mental health. Number 3, we all love to sleep. You can get better sleep quality if you control those things. If you don't have those late night disruptions at night that can disturb your sleep patterns, lower your sleep quality, reducing that phone use right before you go to bed can actually lead to more restful sleep. You've probably heard of that whole blue light thing. Avoiding using your phone close to bedtime, it helps to minimize the blue light exposure, which can disrupt your body's natural sleep cycle. So with me at night, I swipe down on my phone, I put do not disturb, or I put sleep mode, or whatever it is. And I've actually got it set now where at 10:30 every night, it automatically does it. And at 5 a.m., I know that's early, at 5 a.m., it turns itself off. So it's a control mechanism that helps me to be able to not necessarily get my sleep disrupted, and it gives me better sleep quality. Number 4, you can improve your relationships and social connections. Been there. I'm a victim of it. If I feel like I'm in an uncomfortable situation, if I'm out in public or on an elevator or something like that, one of the first things I do, we all probably do, is we reach down and we look at our phone. I've been standing next to someone and they really was just kind of messing around with their calculator on their phone, and just to make it look like they were doing something. But what that's doing is it's taking you away from the exposure and the access of the people that you have around you. So controlling that urge to constantly respond to messages, it can actually help you improve your relationships and social connections by increased presence. Not checking your phone constantly. You can be more present with your social interactions. You can have more meaningful and deeper connections with your family, your friends, your colleagues, and it can help with active listening. You won't have the distraction of the notifications, or someone that's talking to you or supposed to be listening to you and is like, yeah, and they're actually doing that. They're not really listening to you. So control that stuff so you can help improve your relationships and connections. Number 5, you can have better emotional regulation. Reduced social media connection and comparison can also help you do that. You can avoid those constant notifications from social media and help decrease the urge to compare yourself to others, leading to more stable self-esteem. You can be at home scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. You could be feeling pretty good about yourself before that. But when you look at my social media and my wife's social media, you might see us traveling and doing things like that. And you go, man, I don't travel enough. I need to get out there a little bit more, man. They're always traveling. And you start comparing yourself. What you may not see is what it takes to get there, or some of the sacrifices that are made to do that. And you're only seeing what you see on the surface level. Social media can make everything look great, and you can start to compare yourself to others. Don't do that. Maybe limit your social media access, except for when you're watching my videos, of course. Limit your social media access and just try to eliminate that feeling that you have to compare yourself to others and that you're not where you need to be or you're not doing what person X, Y, or Z is doing. Number 6, you can have boosted creativity and problem solving if you help to reduce all of that those notifications that are going on. You can have more interrupted thinking time. You can have that without the distraction of those notifications, as your brain has more room to be creative and to have more thought-provoking thoughts, have more problem-solving skills, allowing for greater insights and better ideas. So again, less distraction, less notifications, you have boosted creativity and problem solving. Getting rid of the junk, allowing some great stuff to come in. Number 7, increase autonomy and control. You can take charge of your time. It's your time. Control your time. By not responding to every notification, you can reclaim control over how and when you interact with people, leading to stronger sense of autonomy. You control that. It is up to you, because people don't know on the other end that they're bothering you. People don't know on the other end that you may just be one of the 20 other people that are reaching out saying, hey, you got a minute? You got a minute? You got a minute? You got a minute? But those minutes add up, right? So you have to regulate that. And I'll go back again to the train people how to treat you. You control that. You have to set those boundaries. Establishing boundaries with your phone use, it empowers you to prioritize your needs and tasks over constant digital demands. Last but not least, this is really, I feel like, all-encompassing. Try to have some healthier digital habits. Reduce your screen time. Believe it or not, your iPhone can actually automatically do that as well. You can actually say, I only want about an hour per day on this app, 30 minutes per day on this app. I want to limit my Instagram viewing to 15 minutes per day on this app. And you can go in and set that in your control settings in your phone. It'll do that for you. Checking notifications less often results in less overall screen time, which is another thing you can do. You may have your phone set up to send you notifications once a week to say your screen time is really high this week. It's 25% higher than last week or 10% lower than last week. Well, if you set some of those regulations on your phone, you could actually get some physical health benefits from it, such as reducing your eye strain and avoiding the habits associated with excessive phone use. Developing intentional phone use. Again, Rather than constantly checking those notifications, you can develop a more intentional relationship with your phone. I know that sounds bad, but you can have an intentional relationship with your phone versus that I got to reach for something. It's almost like someone that smokes cigarettes. Like, I got to have a cigarette. I got to have, because it's what I do. I got to have that. It's almost like clockwork. It becomes natural. You wake up and you feel like, I got to grab my phone. I got to grab my phone. I got to check this. What was that buzz? What was that bing? You know, you got to make sure you get a control of that. And so that you're only using it when you need it. So set some timers on your apps, hide apps. You can even, I've done this before, I've tried this. You know, you put those apps initially right there when you unlock your phone and, oh, Facebook's sitting right there. So I click it and I'm just going to check something, but then you start scrolling. Well, give it a shot, see if it works for you. I've actually tried to take my Facebook app or any other app and I'll take it and drag it over 3 screens over because it makes it harder for me to get to. Now, I know where it's at. I can still get to it, but it's less access. It makes it more effort for me to have to go find it versus being readily available. So bottom line, everybody, by limiting your interaction with notifications, you can significantly enhance your quality of digital life, mental clarity, relationships with others by producing a healthy well-being and a productive life. Leave them on red, except me. Thanks everybody for listening. I hope that you learned something from this. Just remember, it's your time. You control your time. Don't feel the need to give it to everybody else. In this case, though, I thank you for your time. And until next time on Sensation Nation, I'm out.